What is going on, guys? It is Daniel Wright, and you are here listening to another episode of Paving the Way. Guys, I'm happy to have you here this week. It's the trend continues. It's a busy week. We got a lot of things going on. We're making moves. We're running through quarter four like there's no tomorrow and just making things happen. And I hope you are doing the same thing. I hope wherever you're at, you're getting to enjoy a little bit of this fall weather, right? You get the cool evenings, cool mornings, warmer afternoons. It's all great. But nonetheless, guys, we're rocking and rolling. We're making things happen. But one of the conversations that kind of came up recently, and I think I've heard it in kind of some other, context or whatever it may be. But something came up recently is, the difference between wannabes and gonnabes. You've probably heard it in one way or another before in your life, but I wanted to kind of come off the back end of last week's episode about, you're never going to feel ready. Right. And a lot of times the wannabes, they don't start doing what they want to do until they feel ready. And so therefore they just continue to be a wannabe. Right. Whereas the gonnabes, they got some characteristics that set them a little bit apart. So guys, with all that being said, let's go ahead and get started. Let's dive into this stuff and let's have a good old time today. Let's go. All right, guys, welcome back. And we are going to jump in to some tactical items about how to separate yourself from being a wannabe and instead be a gonna-be, right? So let's go ahead and define the two things, right? So a wannabe is someone who wants to do something, right? When we were kids, you always heard, people would tell you, oh, you're such a wannabe. At least my friends did, you're whether it came to basketball or sports or riding skateboards or rollerblades, whatever it was, you're such a wannabe. And it was like an insult, right? And I guess it comes down to you want to be good. You want to be a pro. You want to be whatever it was you were trying to do. And in the adult world, right, there's a lot of wannabes out there still. There's a lot of wannabe leaders. There's a lot of wannabe managers. There's a lot of wannabe great spouses, a lot of wannabe great parents. There's a lot of things that we want to be. And I think we get caught a lot of times in, well, one day I'll be this person. One day I'll have that promotion. One day I'll do this. I want to do that. I want to do that. And the difference then is the gonna-bees, right? So the gonna-bees are going to be the people who they have more plans. They have more, they have more drive. They have more discipline. They have more of a bigger reason to really push and become that person that they are going to be. And I think we oftentimes get caught in this I guess this kind of no man's land, because when you're comfortable in your life, when you have all of your needs provided for, you have a good job, you have a nice home, a family, all the things that you want to do, you get really comfortable, but you still, like, your wants and desires don't go away. You still want to be more, you want to be further along, want to be whatever it may be that you want to be. And so getting to that gonna be is oftentimes a lot more difficult. You guys have heard me talk about it before. It's kind of I don't want to say it's a known statistic or a known fact or whatever, but it's kind of a known thing that the people who are brought up and live in the middle class lifestyle have oftentimes a harder time achieving massive amounts of success. And the reason is because they were taught that you can do average amounts of work, get average results, have average excitement in your life, have average everything, and life's still good, right? Your meals are taken care of, your home is provided for, you have clothes on your back, you can go on, one or two vacations a year, whatever it might be. Life is still good being average and middle. But if you want to be great, if you want to go further, like on the journey that I'm on right now, is trying to be great. I'm trying to build something bigger than I've ever thought possible. Prove the haters wrong, prove the believers right, whatever it may be. I'm trying to build that. And what I found out is that I have to differentiate myself between being a wannabe. I want to be a great business leader. I want to be a great, influencer in our industry. I want to be a great husband. And instead, I have to take on the mentality of I'm gonna be. What's the difference, right? The difference is a gonna be's. Well, first item is they have a clearly defined plan, right? And the plan oftentimes includes the who, what, where, why, when, and how, right? So the plan to you're gonna be an industry leader in your market, right? Okay, well, who do you need to do it? What do you need to do it? Where are you going to do it? How are you going to do it? When are you going to do it by? And then why are you going to do it? In my opinion, the why is ultimately the most important, because when things get hard, when things get deep, when they get thick, and when they don't become fun anymore, the why is ultimately what's going to be pushing you through. Now, for me in particular, what pushes me through a lot of days is I want to be the person that I think that my dogs think I am, right? If you have a dog or a pet of any sort, specifically dogs, but if you have a pet, they oftentimes look at you like you are a hero. Or to the rest of the world who has children, your little kids look at you like you're their hero. And I've heard dads say it before, man, I just wish I was at least half the man that my kids think I am. Well, for me, I got dogs. So I wish I was half the man that my dogs think I am. But on a serious note, guys, I really do want to create a life that I'm proud of, that my family and friends are proud of, that my peers are proud of, that the people on my team at Proline are proud of. And I want to build this thing that everyone around me is proud of. They're proud to be associated with it, that their lives are better because they're associated with me. And so that why, that deep why to really impact people's lives, to make them better, guys, what I do every day, 131 episodes of this, you think I want to do this every day I get on here? No. You think I want to go to the gym every morning I go? No. You think I want to read every day? No. But all the things that I am required to do to become a better version of me than I was yesterday, the why is what pushes me through. And so out of all those parts of that defined plan, the who, what, where, when, why, and how, that why has to be deep. It's got to be rooted inside of you as a human. And so then once you get to that point, then you have to figure out how you're going to take action. That next step is taking action, right? And there's a lot of people who say, work in private, show the results in public, this and that. Yes, I get it, right? Because if you just start showing everybody everything you're doing, you're eventually going to be the boy who cried wolf. And they're going to be like, okay, well, here's his next attempt, his next idea, his next whatever, and he's going to give up on it or move, change courses or whatever it is. I get all that crap. But guys, make public moves. Make things happen, right? Push yourself, put things out there to the world, to the universe, to your friends, your family, whatever it might be, and make those steps big. Don't just say, oh, I want to, I'm going to grow my business and we're going to hire one person next year. No, we're going to hire 5. We're going to hire 10, whatever it may be in your business, in your world, in your realm. Make massive steps of action. Because then even if you take those big steps and you fall a little bit short of your intention, you're still making way bigger strides than you would have if you were trying to play it safe, right? And my peers and my friends that have known me for a while know that I've always more erred on the side of caution, right? I want to have a meticulous plan, a very specific method on how we're going to do it. I want to make sure that everything's in line before we move. Well, I can promise you over the last, 6 to 8 months, that mentality has changed. And what we're doing is we're making massive steps. We're taking big actions. We're making bigger moves. So that way, even if, like I said, we don't hit them 100% as what our target was, we're making way more progress than we would have if I would have played it safe. Way more progress than I would have if I would have been too methodical. And there's something to be said about not growing too big, too fast, or making too big of moves too quick. And you end up injuring yourself. You end up hurting the overall mission that you were trying to achieve. But nonetheless, you have to be willing to make big moves in public. And sometimes, guys, and I can thank my friend Cam Roberts for this part of it, sometimes you have to use brute force. Because oftentimes, the steps that are required, you don't feel like doing. Like I said earlier, the steps required to get good enough, to keep doing a podcast, or good enough to, be competing in sports, or good enough to be competing in business. The steps required to at least get to where you're good enough, you don't oftentimes feel like doing them. Okay. It's constant dedication. It's constant discipline to the fact of you are committing to this and you have to do what is required when you don't feel like it. And that's when brute force comes in and you just force yourself to do it. There have been times in my life where I've gone on different, whether it's, workout regimens, whether it's, heck, for the example, last week, I was recording everything I did with my time, from the time I woke up to the time I went to bed. And honestly, there's a couple that's like, I don't know how to record it. I'll just put like a time block that I got to cut a few things. No, I committed to wanting to record how my time was broken down for 7 days from the time I woke up to the time I went to sleep. And I made sure that it was a priority to record those things like I said I was going to do. You know, in the grand scheme of things, recording my time for a week is a very small task. But bottom line is, whether it's small or whether it's big, how you do anything is how you do everything. And so if I committed to that task, if I committed to that assignment that I gave myself, then I have to uphold that commitment, even when I don't feel like it. Period. There's no excuses. There's no questions asked. There's no anything really. There's no negotiating. So you got to make sure that you're willing to take action, because if you're going to be the person you say you want to be, or you plan to be, or you desire to be, then you have to be able to take the action. And then beyond all that, guys, I would say the biggest part about the differentiators between the wannabes and the gonnabes is the gonnabes are actually accountable to themselves. Wannabes have a shit ton of excuses. Wannabes have a whole lot of reasons why something didn't work out. Wannabes have a whole lot of stories on, oh, well, this became more of a priority, or this wasn't, didn't work out the way I thought it was. Whatever it may be. The gonnabes, doesn't matter. Facts are facts. Facts over feelings, right? Your facts don't care about your feelings. You're accountable. You're accountable with yourself. You're accountable with others. And most importantly, you're accountable with your future self. Alex Hormozy oftentimes talks about that, a lot of the decisions he makes today are in relation to or in plans for his future self. That's something he kind of has this thing. He more or less talks to his 80-year-old version of himself, because that person is more wise. They've experienced more life. They're smarter. They have more to offer, whatever it is, right? And so if you can actually shift in that way to think about, what does my future self need me to do right now? If I'm 20 years down the road, or even 2 years down the road, and I look back at me now, will I be proud of myself, or will I be disappointed? Will I know I made up a whole bunch of excuses, or will I know that I was accountable with myself, regardless of how I felt? Because, guys, accountability is something that is massively lacking in today's society. The culture we live in today, there's excuses for everything. There's reasons for everything. There's this whole mentality that, oh, just try your best and that's good enough. Well, guys, good enough, like I said earlier, will get you very average. Will barely get you by. And then you're going to end up being completely dissatisfied with yourself, looking back over your life, because you knew that you were capable of more. And so being accountable with yourself is going to open up those doors to be the person that you are planning on being, that you say that you're gonna be. So the whole point of all this is the wannabes, guys, they're the ones who are just, I want to do this, I want to do that, I want to get this advancement, this promotion, this business, yada 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 yada. And they have all these big dreams and ambitions and desires, but they've got no plan, they've got no action that they're taking, and they've got no accountability. So if you can somehow muster up those three things right there, get yourself a plan, start taking action on it, and be accountable, then you're going to make huge strides compared to otherwise. Your friends, your family, everybody who's all the wannabes in your life, they're going to look at you and say, well, what happened? And you can tell them, well, I decided I was going to do these things I've been talking about. I decided that I'm going to be the man or the woman that I was created to be. I decided that I'm going to change the lives of all the people around me. Whatever it is that your heart has, whatever it is that you feel that you were created to do, you have to decide, are you going to do it or do you want to do it? Because there's two very big different outcomes from two very small decisions. Wanting and going to are completely different things. So, guys, that's my short and sweet message for you today. Like I said, it was on my mind more or less this afternoon, because I was talking with my friend Ryan. He's actually also our fractional CFO, and he said he's going to be going and doing a challenge this week. It's called Everesting, right? So he's going up to Vermont, going to be doing this huge challenge to more or less ascend 29,000 and some change elevation. And so it's hiking up a mountain, taking the gondola down, hiking it up. It's a 36-hour event. You have 36 hours to complete it. And I asked him, and he said, I've got reasons I want to do it. He said, I want to get back to how I used to be as far as being in shape. I want to push myself and, prove that I can do things and, do hard things specifically. And I was like, man, that is awesome. Like, that's a man who he's not a wannabe. He's gonna be. He's gonna go put himself through this challenge. He's gonna go take on the the difficulties that's gonna come with this event. And I told him, I said, man, I'm proud of you, because there's a lot of people who talk about that they want to do these types of things, but there's very few who actually do. So if you guys know Ryan, or if Ryan, if you're listening to this, or your wife, I mean, your wife listens to it every now and then. But guys, if you see Ryan, if you know Ryan, tell him good luck, ask him how it went, because it's going to be a heck of an experience for him. And he's the one who more or less inspired this conversation today. So guys, I appreciate y'all for tuning in. I hope you have a fantastic rest of your day. I hope whatever it is you have going on right now is going in your favor, because you are putting in the work to deserve it. Because ultimately, that's all we get, right? We get the results that we earn, not that we want. So guys, well, on that note, I hope you have a fantastic day, fantastic rest of your week. I look forward to seeing you guys next week, and I hope you all